Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz are talking about Ripple's future and where it believes it is going. This could be very important since XRP is one of the most valuable assets in the cryptocurrency market, right? Ripple works by moving billions and billions and billions of dollars and then trillions of dollars every afternoon. I think it's important to take a moment to talk about where the people who are steering the ship are leading the company. Let's get this over with right away. So, David, where are we now? How well does the current state of the XRPL match up with the goals you guys set when you started this in 2011? Hey, it's been fun. Some things have kind of gone the way I think I expected them to, and other things have been completely different from what I thought would happen. In what way do you think that could actually be? May I speak to you now? I ask, can you hear him okay? I'm right. Yes, to be sure. Thanks. So cool. One reason might be that institutional usage has been a little different from what we thought it would be. In some ways, I think it's been slower than we thought. There have been times when it was a lot faster. I believe that formal adoption from businesses that aren't banks and other financial institutions has been slow. For that kind of thing, I think we would have expected more of a bottom-up uptake where regular people would be the first to use crypto, like when it made money transfers more accessible. And that kind of didn't happen. I think what did happen though, and what's exciting is that the way money works has become more or less right for accepting it. What I see is that tech has taken over many different fields, such as shopping through companies like Amazon and music through digital downloads and streaming services. I guess tech is going to change banking, and I think we're already there with the fight against institutions we're seeing now, because they are official adoptions. These are very exciting. While they may not be as popular as Ripple now, they were pretty early on in getting institutions to accept bills. Still, it wasn't banks that brought their clients to the blockchain. The customer just put in a price and didn't know what to do next. But I'm really interested in when the first ideas for starting the XRP system. What were some of the reasons you thought, hey, let's build a better blockchain for bills, just talk about it? Maybe some of those early chats about how it all began. Bitcoin had just become famous and we were just starting to learn more about it. That was probably the very first idea we had. And I think one of the things we learned is that even if you thought, like many people did at the time, that Bitcoin would take over the world, it's not like that at all. You have a new belief and follow it well. If everyone believed the same religion, it would be beautiful. That being said, any payment network would be great if everyone in the world could use it. We realized that the idea that Bitcoin could somehow solve interoperability since anyone could use it for anything was just as unrealistic as the idea that any payment machine could somehow solve interoperability. When we first looked at the XRP system, we thought that the proof of work wasn't really going to work. But we've been a little ahead of schedule. In that story, first cracks have been appearing. Another thing we learned was that about 99.99% of the price wasn't in blockchain at the time and probably wouldn't be for a while. Because of this, there had to be a pay, or what we now call bridges. There had to be a way to meet. So one of the first real things we added to the XRP ledger was issued assets, which is what we call strong cash these days, along with a DEX and this kind of multi-asset. The idea that you could use the blockchain to agree on something, but it wouldn't have to be a local coin. Yeah, as someone who wasn't there at the start, it moves me that you all saw these things coming and planned for them in such a way that they changed earlier. And to be honest, I think people don't give the XRP system enough credit. I bet I hear you saying it was based on the idea that if 99.9% of all price isn't always on chain, you need to find ways to make it clear that it is on chain, make it liquid, and make it useful. Yes, it's funny that those thoughts came to you so quickly. This happened about 12 to 13 years ago, right? These people knew David Schwartz, Arthur Brito, and Jen McAlevin, who were part of the team planning how money would move around the world. They knew that Bitcoin has some problems and is used in some tough conditions. And what we want to do is deal with those tough problems. And now that I think about it, it's great that they chose to add an and proper. I decided to make something where you can actually add any price from around the market to the XRP record, whether it has a feature or not. A very small amount of money is exchanged in just a few seconds. Something like this was way ahead of its time, and the smartest people in the world were probably working on the XRP ledger and blockchain when it was first formed. It really doesn't get any better than this. When you look back, yes, it's interesting. It's actually very exciting. Like now have names. In 2012, we built a DEX, but we didn't call it that. Also, you know what they mean? They weren't called strong cash, but we were stable. You already know that we had a lot of money in the first few issues. We also had something that isn't radical now, but was radical back then, bills that you can handle. If you need to change your Bitcoin receiving address because you want to change your funds one at a time, you should change. You can get your bills. Someone needs to get a new address from you. It's hard to get people to buy it. There's nothing in Bitcoin that makes sense about the idea that you could run an account. On the other hand, Ethereum is built around that idea. That being said, it did look kind of interesting because the technology didn't meet all of those standards. In this way, Ethereum claimed its own space in the world. Yes, there are reports that Vitalik worked as an intern at Ripple before I started working there. Tell us something great about that. I agree, it's really sad. We are very far away from the TV. It doesn't make any sense. It's so sad that you missed your workout. I mean, can you picture all the great things Vitalik might want Ripple to do? Not at all. But seriously, Vitalik did have some great thoughts about smart contracts on the first layer. At one point, he stayed on Stefan's couch, who was our CTO at the time, and talked about his feelings. And the fact that he had a clear picture of what was going to happen not that long from now was deeply inspiring. Sure enough, he stepped in to help Thomas, me, Arthur Brito, and Vitalik with adding layer 1 smart contracts to our plan. Additionally, it's interesting to note that there were numerous reasons why we failed to grasp that idea once more. You could say that we're a little late to the party by talking about that now, but I think it's fun to think about what would have happened if Vitalik had been able to convince Stefan, Arthur, and me to add smart contracts to the first layer of the XOP record in the beginning. But I think what we've been working on is that it would cause the transaction fees to go up and the number of transactions to go down by the second. You can see this with Ethereum. Then it does cost money. Of course, you could also say that it has benefits that are very clear. That being said, I may be moving on to some of the things we need to cow. Thinking back, I wonder if they knew who they wanted as a customer back then. They said they wanted financial companies and banks as customers. Anyone who studies Ethereum knows that if you compare how much it used to cost to what it's worth now, it's not even close. This shows that they didn't care